Okay, Al, good to go.
Good to go.
Extreme explorer and ex-naval commander Victor Vescovo is putting his life on the line, as well as $50 million of his own money, to pursue his dream.
Good boy.
What little boy or little girl doesn't grow up wanting to be an explorer? And here I am with a wonderful ship, a great crew. It's now the deepest diving submersible in the world, and I get to go play in the ocean with it and discover things that have never been seen before. How could you not be absolutely ecstatic?
His mission is to travel to each of the 5 oceans, discover their deepest point, and unlock their unexplored secrets. He has already traveled over 5 miles down to the very bottom of the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh my goodness, I can see the bottom.
Now he and his team are heading for a far tougher challenge. The Southern Ocean. It surrounds the frozen continent of Antarctica. These are the coldest waters on the planet and some of the roughest seas, making it perhaps the most dangerous of all the Earth's oceans.
Some of the old style maps had "Here be dragons," and sailors were actually terrified to come to this area because it was so dangerous, and ships did not return. They would be destroyed.
Rising winds are already testing the crew and equipment.
Getting a little brisk out here, all right. It's lovely. Might have to take the shorts off. We have to go to long pants soon.
Boy, it came up. Calvin, you need more shots?
Soon, they're experiencing a full-scale snowstorm.
Hey. You should be getting ahead somewhere. I'm just over on the coast to stop a little bit. Yeah, I got it.
In this life, I'd rather be lucky than good. And when it comes to weather, you definitely want to be lucky.
Victor is worried about the effects of the cold on the expedition's vital navigation equipment.
Batteries look okay. Modems. Yeah, these guys did well. Very strange seeing snow on my landers.
The snowstorm has been an early warning of the treacherous weather that could lie ahead. To search for the ocean's deepest point, Victor and his team are heading for a dramatic underwater chasm called the South Sandwich Trench. Over 4.5 miles deep, its waters drop below freezing and are under huge pressure. 5 times the crushing power of a junkyard car compactor.
It's very rarely visited, and certainly no one has ever mapped the South Sandwich Trench, certainly not with the kind of tools that we will have available. So in a way, this is very exciting for the whole crew because this is true exploration.
To protect Victor from the deadly pressures at the bottom of the trench, he has commissioned a remarkable prototype sub at a cost of $35 million. Surrounding the cockpit is a sphere of 3.5-inch thick titanium, punctured by wide-angle viewports made of acrylic. It's equipped with enough oxygen tanks to give him air for up to 4 days. But in the Southern Ocean, the sub will have to endure temperatures far colder than any it's experienced before.
We'll have surface temperatures that are starting at 0 or 1 degree rather than where we were before where the surface temperatures were 25 or 30 degrees Celsius. The depth, it'll be -1, and it's enough to affect our cabling, our connectors, our batteries.
If the dive succeeds, the expedition scientists will be able to hunt for unknown creatures of the deep.
I'll put the lights on scat.
And try to solve one of the Southern Ocean's greatest mysteries. These waters are in fact packed with oxygen and nutrients, vital to life, and are the source of a global ocean current that feeds the world. Scientists are desperate to find where this lifeblood current exits the Southern Ocean. The South Sandwich Trench is a prime suspect, but no one has been able to dive deep enough to confirm it.
The Southern Ocean, in my opinion, is one of the most important locations of the planet. It's the lungs of Earth.
It's vital to global ocean circulation. So we need to know more. We want to know more.
To make their bold attempt, Victor and his team only have a short window of time, the brief Antarctic summer, when the pack ice that locks in over 7 million square miles of ocean melts and retreats.
And if you look at the Southern Ocean, every winter we grow almost the equivalent of the continental United States. And then summer melt that entire continent back.
100 miles away from the deepest point, the team sees the chance of a break in the weather to take the sub on an exploratory dive. It's an opportunity for Chief Scientist Alan Jameson to search for new creatures of the deep, and for Victor to put the sub through its paces in the Southern Ocean's freezing waters. In the spotlight is the sub's designer, John Ramsey.
Mechanically, everything's great at cold temperatures. It's the electrical issues with cold circuit boards and things like that. Just hoping everything's going to be fine for the guys.
First, the team needs to launch their $35 million sub off the back of a ship being buffeted by the volatile Southern Ocean.
The most dangerous part of any of our operations will always be launch and recovery. That's when you're dealing with forces that are unpredictable, and managing that is a difficult thing.
Bridge, Esso. We're ready to launch here. A little roly-poly, but we'll give her a shot. Okay, let's do this. Out on the A-frame. Follow the tagline slowly. The waves are coming in behind us.
LF, be advised, going to get a little sloppy here for a minute.
This is where we start to rock and roll.
Okay. Here we go, boys.
You gotta have to go quick.
Here's the worst part.
Okay, fast on the main, fast on the main.
We're out of time.
Up on the tow line a little bit. Up. Just hang on, buddy. Get that out on the tow line. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why are we doing this? Son of a... Out on the tow line.
You have that happen right at the moment you're releasing it. You know, that's just that's a sickening feeling.
Status, please.
Just be advised, looks like, you may have lost your starboard camera.
Roger that. Permission to dive?
Negative. You're going to release the tow line, Joe.
Okay, let's pick up the, yep. Damn it!
What happened to the tow line?
Yeah, we broke the tow line.
We'll get her, McGee.
Without its tow line, the sub is now adrift. The team must clear the remaining lines and avoid getting freezing water inside their protective clothing.
In the cold water of the Southern Ocean, if you go into the water, you've only got about a minute before you're in serious trouble.
Just get ready in case he falls in the water.
What am I supposed to do?
After rough seas caused the sub to collide with the back of the ship on launch, the sub has lost one of its external cameras. The team can't see any other damage and decide to press ahead with the dive.
Okay, LF, this is Esso.
The LF, go ahead.
Okay, you're clear to dive.
Clear to dive. Pumping in.
Okay, here we go.
Descending and we are underwater.
It's eerily quiet.
Yeah.
The green color of the water here is evidence of what makes the Southern Ocean so vital to life around the world. Plentiful nutrients build up here during the long, dark winters, and in the summer feed explosions of microscopic plants called phytoplankton. They bloom in such quantities that NASA has even been able to track them from space.
It was mind-blowing that on that type of scale in the Southern Ocean, the phytoplankton were responding to the surface currents and the winds and their distribution, and you could see that from space.
Plants depend on light, and so they live in a narrow band near the surface, the sunlight zone. And here they in turn support an abundance of microorganisms called krill, which feed a rich food chain, from penguins to killer whales. Passing below 650 feet, the sub enters the twilight zone. Here the light dwindles and the ocean's microscopic plants can no longer survive. Yet life does thrive here. Like this icefish, its blood still runs because it has a natural antifreeze in its veins. And transparent jelly-like organisms called salps that string together in long chains.
See, look how dark it is.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Surface, this is LF. Present depth, 348 meters.
Victor and Alan have been underwater for just 10 minutes, but the surface crew have spotted evidence of a worrying fault with the sub.
Do you not think it's best just to report just in case? Yeah. Kelvin, Zeno?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, just for information. Looks like I can see a small
oil slick.
It seems that when one of the sub's cameras was damaged on launch, it breached the oil-filled pipes that carry electrical wires around the sub. It's now only a matter of time before seawater gets in and shorts out a vital part of the electrical system. The sub's power comes from 6 batteries packed into detachable pods on either side of the sphere. They in turn link to junction boxes that supply the sub's components. To protect the wires and electronics from the pressures of the deep, the boxes and pipes are all filled with oil. Because oil is lighter than water, it's now escaping from the breach at the top of the sub, letting water seep in. If it reaches the junction box, it will knock out multiple components, leaving Victor without full control of the sub, 2,000 feet below the surface.
Okay, response.
Need you to instruct the LF to abort the dive. They're going to have to abort the dive. There are times when you have to call it, and even if it's unpopular, you do it because you have to do what's safe.
This is response. Please abort the dive. Abort the dive.
Roger that. Aborting dive. Repeat, aborting dive.
Why?
When we lost the camera, it sheared the cable, so the oil started leaking.
Oh.
Victor must now make a controlled release of enough of the diving weights to bring the sub safely back to the surface.
Ejecting weights. All weights jettisoned. Ascending to surface. Get ready to brace.
We had to abort you, man, because you would have lost your and you'd have lost your modem anyway. So at some point you'd have been coming up even if you didn't want to.
Repairs to the damaged sub begin.
Go ahead and try, give it a little bit.
And the team encounter another deadly hazard of the Southern Ocean. Icebergs. A specialist ice pilot has joined forces with the captain to navigate through these unpredictable ship sinkers.
9/10 of an iceberg is underneath the ice. And I've seen icebergs going against the wind, which is completely not intuitive.
To begin with, the icebergs are relatively small, but then comes a monster.
That's the target. We're dead ahead of us now.
Is this the biggest you've ever seen? I've never seen one this big. This is extraordinary. It goes off into the horizon.
And it disappears off into the fog. And then it disappears off into the fog on the other side.
This is massive. How long is it, Stu?
18 miles, that's what I think.
It's more than a half marathon long. The icebergs actually pose a true danger. So when I'm coming up from the bottom, I don't want to be going up too fast because I don't know what's directly on top of me.
Finally, the team arrive above the South Sandwich Trench, a vast underwater canyon that's a staggering 4.5 miles deep. Their first task is to identify on the floor of the trench the precise location of the deepest point in the Southern Ocean. Using one of the most powerful sonar scanning systems in the world, they begin to map, for the very first time in history, an extraordinary hidden landscape.
If this were inverted and was a mountain range, it would actually be higher than the entire Andes mountain chain.
Jeez.
It's massive.
The South Sandwich Trench is a staggering 600 miles long, stretching from the lower reaches of the Atlantic down into the Southern Ocean itself. But up on the bridge, the team spot a growing threat to the deep dive.
These storms are moving a little faster than expected. The two low-pressure systems are causing all this weather to go in like a funnel. We can't outrun it. We point the ship into the storm and we ride it out.
In the freezing waters of the Southern Ocean, an approaching storm is threatening to derail Victor's attempt to discover and dive its deepest point.
We are in the screaming 60s. You do not hang out at this latitude and not have storms come at you. Even if it's pretty rough weather, we're just going to tough it out so we can get the biosamples, etc. Even if we don't dive in. So like to deploy the landers.
The landers are underwater scientific probes packed with sensors, cameras, and traps. They are vital for the team's mission to explore what life could possibly exist in the icy waters 24,000 feet below.
Pretty exciting. I mean, we're at the limits of this planet, basically. Ultra cold and high pressure is very hard to adapt to.
There are 5 landers on board, costing up to $200,000 each. But with a storm on its way, to launch and retrieve these near 1-ton monsters could put lives on the line.
Hope it doesn't snow more. We don't want ice forming on the deck. If any one of us fell in the water, because it's so cold down here, you get hypothermia pretty fast.
Yep, watch out! Okay, cut down the wire.
I know, it's going that way.
Yeah, start off. Back we go.
Despite the conditions, 2 science probes are heading for the seabed. 8 hours later, and after a remote release, they are due back on the surface. But now the weather is taking a dramatic turn for the worse.
The nature of what we do is notoriously dangerous in terms of equipment-wise and weather-wise. You psychologically prepare yourself because with all best intentions, you can plan an expedition for 2 years and you go there and it just goes wrong.
Where are they?
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so you know we have a visual about 800 meters away from
Oh, man.
Just watch that arm. It's just if it takes one little roll.
Pretty scary.
Come on, come down. Right. Coming up! Come on, come down on the wire. Where is it?
It hasn't worked.
No.
You see what happened to the rope? Yeah. Looks like something chewed it.
A crucial piece of scientific equipment and any extreme life forms it may have captured are now plummeting back to the seabed, never to be seen again. And now comes more bad news. The crew have failed to locate the second probe.
You should be seeing that stroke clear as day by now, right?
And because the Antarctic winter is now fast approaching, they must abandon the search and move on.
Very distressing. Because we have limited time and we've got bad weather coming and we might not get another chance.
There is better news for the sonar team mapping the trench.
Wow, who's that?
So this is a sea mound that's 1,100 meters off the seafloor.
The sea mound is an extinct underwater volcano. Previously unknown, the team get to name it. It's a stark reminder that we know more about the surface of the moon than the seabed of our own planet.
it's just fantastic. I mean, nobody knew anything about this area, and look at all the amazing features that have been imaged by the sonar.
The new data also bolsters the theory that the South Sandwich Trench is the root of the mysterious lifeblood current which feeds the world.
When you carve trenches in the ocean, you've created a funnel where water flows. Are these trenches reservoirs, relatively undisturbed, or are they dynamic through flows of water?
To confirm the theory, the team need to sample the deep trench itself. And now, for the first time in history, they've accurately pinpointed the very deepest site in the Southern Ocean.
Based on the satellite data, this one right here has always been the one that we thought was going to be the deepest, or this last one. No one considered the third one. Now we know the deepest point in the Southern Ocean is this yellow dot right here.
Wow. A staggering 24,388 feet below the surface. This is Victor's target for a dive he's determined to take on alone.
Doing things solo, you're completely responsible for everything that happens, and you're doing it by yourself with such intense focus. Makes it more interesting, I guess, for me. It's more exciting. You're completely on your own.
There are now just days left before the Antarctic summer ends and the Southern Ocean becomes too dangerous to dive. With rough seas forecast for tomorrow, it's now or never. But there are major concerns for Victor's safety.
I don't want to slam into the bottom of an iceberg.
There are huge bricks of ice out there, I mean apartment-size blocks of ice.
The expedition team are facing a major setback in their plans to send Victor down to the deepest point of the Southern Ocean. Icebergs that could threaten his return to the surface. Despite the risks, they decide to press ahead.
He's going to make a very careful and deliberate return to the surface. We want to make sure that he verifies himself with cameras that the surface is clear, just in case we have him misplaced on our chart.
Frankly, I'm going to use light power to slowly go up. I'm not going to drop the freeboard to rocket up.
The team prepare to launch Victor on his historic attempt into the freezing temperatures of the deep trench, beyond any hope of rescue.
Okay, you're going to have a great dive.
I know, it'll be awesome.
Going to the bottom of the ocean in a submersible is like going on a space mission in terms of the isolation.
Coming down.
Hatch coming down. Thank you.
Okay, let's do this. Get him in, boys.
The cold, extreme remoteness would play on Victor's mind, because if anything goes wrong, you're right at the end of the most stretched rubber band in history, and you're really hoping that we'll pull you back.
LF is pumping in. Proceeding to dive.
LF, you are awash. You are awash.
Roger that. I'll try thrusters down. Thanks. And down we go. Looking outside the portal, looks like a lot of food down here. Oh, I just saw a jellyfish. Surface, LF, present depth.
Present depth, 487. Life support good.
Roger that, LF. We have you loud and clear. Oh, that was quick. Woo! I mean, he is whistling down.
Within just minutes, Victor reaches the very deepest zones of the Southern Ocean, the Midnight Zone, where no light at all can penetrate, and where extraordinary creatures are still being discovered. The giant sea spider, whose internal organs are carried inside its legs. The feather star, which uses the long spines along its arms to filter out microscopic food from the water. And visitors from above, deep-diving sperm whales which have the largest brains of any creature that's ever lived on Earth. At 13,000 feet, Victor enters the Abyssal Zone, home to sea pigs that inflate up to 7 pairs of legs to walk around the sea floor. and alarm jellyfish that, if attacked, emit bioluminescent flashes thought to act like a burglar alarm to attract bigger predators to the scene.
You can already feel the cold coming through the bottom of the submersible.
The temperature of the salt water outside has now dipped below freezing.
I'll check and see if I hear something unusual. I don't have any systems on. I'm certainly not using thrusters. It's almost like a hum. It does sound like a low hum coming from outside the sub. I don't think I've heard that before. Shoot, there's so much background noise right now. Seems to be coming from the submarine. I can't hear the surface. Surface, LF, present depth 5031. I cannot read you.
LF, comms check, comms check. He didn't hear me. He didn't acknowledge. What's going on with that thing? Do you read me? Do you read me at all?
As a submarine pilot, you don't want to lose communication with the surface. That's extremely dangerous, extremely dangerous.
Status! Status! What the is going on where he can't hear us? Loud and clear! Loud and clear! Crystal clear audio. I can hear him.
It's a critical moment in the dive. Should Victor abandon or continue into the deep?
Maybe it's the cold water or something. 3,000 meters from the bottom. I may just keep going. I've come all this way. We're going to achieve the mission here. I'm not going to board for comms out.
As he descends further into the trench, it's not just the communication system under attack from the freezing Antarctic waters. The electrical supply to the external cameras has also cut out.
Well, now I'm really alone. I don't have comms with the surface. I'm in a submersible by myself going down to the bottom of the Southern Ocean.
In mission control, it's been 2 hours since they last made contact with the sub.
Yeah, attention all stations. Be advised, we can hear Victor, but we cannot communicate with him. He cannot hear us. He's very close to the lander.
Yeah, I'd say within a couple of 100 meters, so he must be near the bottom.
Insulation fault. That's probably just some water residue in there. Everything's looking good. I should be getting there really close now. Oh my. And I can see something on the bottom. Now I'm seeing the bottom much more clearly. I've just reached the bottom of the Southern Ocean. Looks like a moonscape out of one of my portals. Surface, LF, at bottom, repeat.
At bottom. On the bottom.
Yeah.
I am at bottom. I'm at the bottom of the Southern Ocean.
Victor is an amazing 24,388 feet below the surface, where no human has ever been before. The team have also deployed here their 3 remaining science probes, or landers, baited with tempting fish carcasses. And although Victor's external sub-cameras may have cut out, amazingly, the cameras on the landers are still working. They now capture Victor's arrival at the bottom, his lights just visible across the sea floor. These are the first ever images captured at the bottom of the South Sandwich Trench. And attracted by the landers' bait, there's already a crowd of super strain specialists able to endure intense cold and enormous pressure.
See, tiny white, they're like perfectly white. They look like tadpoles. What's that over there? Larger creature, a little pink on the top. He has a little pink head, two big eyes. Oh, he's definitely swimming. He's swimming away from my blast.
It seems that Victor has identified a mysid, a type of crustacean whose bright red color in fact makes it even more invisible in the pitch dark of the deep ocean. 1,500 feet further up the trench slope, a second lander is capturing remarkable images of the range of life that thrives here. Sea lilies and tall tubular glass sponges. Both snag passing microorganisms drifting past in the current. And higher up the slope still, a third lander is capturing the first ever footage in this trench of a truly remarkable creature. Known as a snailfish, this is the deepest living kind of fish yet discovered. And here are two new species filmed for the very first time. The snailfish are not here for the bait itself, but to pick off any scavengers the bait attracts. Finally, the lander's auto-release mechanisms activate, and they head back to the surface. But now comes the massive challenge of safely retrieving these $200,000 pieces of equipment in heavy seas.
What do we got?
I think I'll just be happy if it lands on deck. Oh.
It's the most difficult side to catch it on because of the arm.
Having lost two landers already, the pressure is on.
Charlie, we're going to have to cross the tag lines.
Yeah? Oh, no. Oh! Don't lose your balance.
Oh, this thing is a nightmare.
Whoa. Right. Wait.
All right, got it.
That's good.
All right, what does the bait look like? Oh, there we go.
There are absolutely thousands in this.
The team have a vital horde of specimens from 24,000 feet down, whose chemical secrets could set the stage for scientific breakthroughs in the future.
Hopefully we'll discover new molecules that have to do with combination of pressure and ultra-cold temperatures. Those may have all kinds of applications. In China, they've been able to use the osmolite that we discovered in deep-sea animals to actually cure glaucoma, which is a high-pressure disease of the human eye.
Sensors on the landers have also brought back vital information that could confirm the route of the lifeblood current carrying nutrients from the Southern Ocean to the rest of the world. The data is dispatched to the British Antarctic Survey in the UK, where a team have been tracking the current at shallower depths.
The data we've been very kindly given confirm that this is Antarctic bottom water in there, that it is going through this trench. The actual flow through it is tens of times the flow of the Amazon, millions of tons a second.
It's a breakthrough that will be vital for future scientific work.
We can measure the waters flowing through to see any change, see any signals that are happening before it spreads out across the whole of the world's ocean floor. These very deep data are going to be very valuable for a long time.
Okay, I think that's a wrap. Surfacing weight release. And we're heading up.
Two and a half hours after leaving the bottom, Victor is now approaching the surface. But after his radio and cameras cut out in the cold, he has no way of knowing if there's an iceberg in his path. If there is, the sub could be pinned beneath the ice, with no way out.
Slow. Hope I don't hit an iceberg. If I hear a thump, I'm stopping quick. Going up, just be patient, Victor. 100 meters to go.
LF, comms check on VHF. How do you read?
Yeah, do you have visual?
Yeah, go ahead.
On surface, repeat, on surface. Yeah, we can see it.
I see him now. See you later.
Welcome back, Victor.
Thank you, gentlemen. It's good to be back.
Zeno is inbound, should be there any minute.
Roger that, Zeno inbound.
We had some comm issues, but we're going to talk about that after.
We're just glad to have you back on the surface and just rigging for recovery.
Roger that. Comms were a problem, but mission was a success.
Indeed it was. Indeed it was, sir. Great job.
Thank you, sir.
Just nice and slow. Nice and slow.
The sub may be safely back on the surface, but there's a final challenge to overcome in the volatile waters of the Southern Ocean.
Right that thing, Steve. Good.
Oh, that was a big wave, guys.
The LF does not like being on the surface. It's designed to just dive, get to the bottom, get there quickly. And she's like a wild horse, like you can try to put a rope on it and it just fights you, right?
Up on the main. Get it, Steve. Get down on the main. Come on, Steve. Get, go, 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 go. Go. All right, Steve. 2 hands, man. Up on the main, up on the main. That's good, Patrick. Good job, buddy. Yep. How you doing, Steve? You want to get off there? I can jump in there and do this. Steve, let's get you off. No, he's too cold. Hang in there, buddy. Steve, let's get you off.
To prevent the onset of hypothermia, the expedition doctor must bring Steve's body temperature back up. He sat him down next to the heating duct in the sub's hangar.
This is helping a lot.
Finally, Steve's warm enough to be moved inside.
I'm dry on the inside.
Good. Yeah, they're the right color. Keep using those. Keep working.
Thank
Good
you.
work.
I've lived on the Tropic of Capricorn my whole life. That's close to the equator. I don't do cold water.
Victor Vescovo! Welcome back, Victor.
Thank you. Good to be back. Yeah! Great job, team!
At last, Victor is safely back on board. He's now the only person to have reached the deepest point of the Southern Ocean, the second of his 5 deeps.
Good to be back.
Good to have you back.
Some interesting moments of feeling quite alone in the middle of the Southern Ocean, but we got it done. It's good to be back. All right, it's kind of cold. Yeah.
Good job. Thanks for getting me, guys.
This is a very high-tech machine that we took to a very inhospitable place, and it was extraordinary. We're doing it because we're explorers, because we want to see. We want to push the boundaries. We want to learn things that haven't been learned before, and we want to do it together and bring it back and share it with other people.